There's a pair of earrings sitting in almost every jewelry box that most women reach for constantly without a second thought. And here's what nobody's told you. That exact pair might be quietly aging your entire face every single time you put them on. It's not about the price, it's not about the metal, it's specifically about the shape and size. And once you understand why, you're never going to reach for it the same way again. Today I'm walking you through 5 specific earring styles that stylists quietly steer mature clients away from, and exactly what to choose instead. And by the end of this video, you're going to want to go through your entire jewelry box with completely fresh eyes. Stick around until earring number 3 especially, because it's the one so many women assume is the safest, most classic choice, when it's actually working against them. Hey there and welcome back to Ageless Style Secrets, the channel dedicated to helping women over 60 look polished, current, and completely confident, without needing an expensive wardrobe or a jewelry box full of pieces you never actually wear. If you're new here, welcome. I'm genuinely glad you found this video. Because earrings are one of the smallest, most affordable details that make an enormous difference in how put together and current your entire look feels. And if you're already part of this community, welcome back, get comfortable, because this list might just send you straight to your jewelry box the moment this video ends. Before we dive in, if this is your first time here, please subscribe before we continue. This channel is built specifically for practical, honest style advice for women exactly like you. And you won't want to miss what we cover next. If you're already finding this valuable, go ahead and tap that like button, and drop a comment letting me know what earrings you're wearing right now this very moment. I want to see how many of you are already wearing something we're about to talk about. Alright, let's get into earring number 1, because it's probably sitting in your jewelry box right now. Why earrings matter more than almost any other accessory. Before we get into the 5 specific styles, let's talk about why earrings deserve this much attention in the first place. Earrings sit closer to your face than nearly any other accessory you wear. Closer than a necklace, closer than a scarf, closer even than your hairstyle in terms of direct visual proximity to your eyes and cheekbones. This means the size, shape, and placement of your earrings has an outsized effect on how your entire face reads to someone looking at you. Far more than most women realize. As facial structure naturally softens somewhat with age, the way light and shadow interact with your face changes gradually too, and certain earring shapes either work with that natural softening beautifully, or they inadvertently emphasize exactly the areas we'd rather soften. This isn't about anything being wrong with your face, it's simply about understanding which shapes and placements genuinely flatter versus which ones work against the goal. The same principle we've discussed with necklines and hairstyles on this channel before. Earring 1 to avoid. The tiny, delicate stud. Let's start with the one so many women default to purely out of habit: tiny, delicate stud earrings, often no larger than a few millimeters across. These feel safe, understated, and easy, which is exactly why they become a daily default for so many of us. But here's the issue: at this stage of life, tiny studs can actually get visually lost against the face entirely, especially once hair starts framing the ears more, or as skin texture naturally changes slightly with age. Rather than adding a polished, finishing detail, they can end up looking like an afterthought, or worse, simply disappearing into the face without adding any visual interest at all. What to choose instead? A slightly larger, textured stud. Instead of the tiniest possible stud, choose a slightly larger stud, still small and understated, but with some texture or dimension built in: a subtly hammered gold disc, a small textured pearl, or a stud with a bit of dimensional shape rather than a completely flat, tiny surface. This slightly larger size and added texture ensures the earring actually registers visually from a normal conversational distance, adding that small, polished finishing touch rather than disappearing entirely. This swap requires no change in your daily habits at all, simply a shift in which specific studs you reach for each morning. Earring 2 to avoid. The very long, thin dangle. Next, very long, extremely thin dangle earrings, the kind that hang several inches below the earlobe on a delicate chain or thin wire. These often feel elegant and dressy, which is exactly why they end up reserved for special occasions in so many jewelry boxes. But here's the issue with this specific style: extremely long, thin dangles tend to pull the eye downward along the neck and jawline, often emphasizing exactly the area many women would prefer to keep the attention away from, rather than drawing focus upward toward the eyes and cheekbones where we generally want visual attention to land. What to choose instead? A shorter, fuller drop earring. Instead of the extremely long, thin dangle, choose a shorter drop earring, one that hangs perhaps an inch or so below the lobe rather than several inches, with a bit more visual weight or fullness to the design rather than a single thin chain. A drop earring with a small cluster of stones, a fuller teardrop shape, or a slightly wider design creates that same dressy, elegant feeling the long dangle was going for, while keeping the visual weight closer to the face rather than pulling attention all the way down the neck. Earring 3 to avoid. The small plain hoop. Here it is, the one I promised you at the beginning, the style so many women assume is the safest, most classic choice available. A small plain gold or silver hoop, typically under an inch in diameter. Hoops feel timeless and universally appropriate, which is exactly why they become such a default choice. But here's what's happening structurally with a very small plain hoop, specifically at that smaller size without any texture or design detail. The hoop can actually read as somewhat flat and one-dimensional against the face, providing very little of the light-catching dimensional quality that makes jewelry feel genuinely elevating rather than simply present. What to choose instead? A medium textured or twisted hoop. Instead of the smallest, plainest hoop available, choose a medium-sized hoop, somewhere between an inch and an inch and a half in diameter, with some texture or design detail built into the metal itself, a twisted design, a subtle hammered texture, or a slightly thicker band rather than a thin, flat wire. This medium size and added texture allows the hoop to genuinely catch and reflect light as you move throughout the day, adding dimension and visual interest that a small plain hoop simply cannot provide on its own, while still maintaining that same timeless, versatile quality that made hoops such a beloved classic in the first place. Okay, quick pause here because I want to know which of these first three you're currently reaching for most often: the tiny stud, the long thin dangle, or the small plain hoop. Drop the number in the comments, 1, 2, or 3. I read every single one, and I love seeing which styles our community has been gravitating toward out of habit. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a wonderful time, because we cover exactly this kind of practical, detailed style advice every single week. Small details that make a genuinely visible difference without requiring an entirely new jewelry collection. After subscribing, go ahead and tap that like button too. It truly helps this video reach more women who might be reaching for exactly these styles out of pure habit. Alright, let's keep going because there are 2 more styles worth discussing. Earring 4 to avoid. The oversized statement dangle. Next, oversized, heavily embellished statement earrings, the kind that extend well below the jaw, often featuring large stones, elaborate beading, or dramatic tiered designs. These certainly make an impact, and for special occasions, an oversized statement earring absolutely can work beautifully in the right context. The issue arises when this becomes an everyday choice rather than an occasional one, since earrings at this scale can overwhelm the face entirely, competing with rather than complementing your features, and sometimes drawing so much visual attention to themselves that they inadvertently make the rest of the face look smaller or less defined by comparison. What to choose instead? A medium statement earring with negative space. Instead of the most oversized, densely embellished option, choose a medium-sized statement earring that incorporates some open, negative space in its design, rather than being entirely solid and dense from top to bottom. A geometric design with open cutouts, a design featuring a single larger stone rather than dozens of smaller ones clustered together, or an earring that combines metal and stone in a more balanced ratio, all create genuine visual impact and personality without the overwhelming density and weight of a fully embellished, oversized piece. This gives you that same confident, statement-making quality, simply calibrated to a scale that complements rather than competes with your face. Earring 5 to avoid. The very heavy large drop earring. And finally, very heavy, oversized drop earrings, often made from thick, solid metal or dense material, the kind that visibly pull down on the earlobe throughout the day. Beyond the purely visual consideration, this style genuinely creates a practical problem too. Heavy earrings can cause real physical discomfort over the course of a day, and over years of wear can actually contribute to visible stretching or elongation of the earlobe itself, which is rarely the intended aesthetic effect anyone is going for. What to choose instead? A lightweight drop with the same visual impact. Instead of solid, heavy metal drops, look specifically for pieces described as lightweight or hollow construction. Many modern jewelry designers now create drop earrings using thin, hollow metal forms or lightweight resin and acrylic materials that achieve the exact same visual size and presence as a heavier piece, without anywhere near the same physical weight pulling on the earlobe. This is honestly one of the most practical swaps on this entire list, since it solves both the aging visual concern and a genuine physical comfort concern simultaneously, allowing you to wear a beautifully sized, visually impactful earring throughout an entire day or evening without any discomfort at all. Alright, one more quick pause before we wrap up, because I want to know if any of these last two, the oversized statement dangle or the heavy solid drop, are sitting in your jewelry box for special occasions right now. Drop a comment letting me know, and if you've ever actually experienced earlobe discomfort from a heavier pair, share that too. I have a feeling a lot of you are going to relate to that specific experience. And if this video is giving you real value, please take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already. This channel exists specifically to help you make small, genuinely useful upgrades to what you already own, rather than requiring an entirely new wardrobe or jewelry collection every single time. Like this video too, it genuinely helps more women discover these practical swaps. Okay, let's talk about a few final considerations that tie this entire topic together. Bonus section 1. Matching earring scale to your own face size. Here's a detail worth mentioning before we close out, because earring scale isn't purely about avoiding certain styles universally, it's also about matching scale to your own individual face size and features. Women with smaller, more delicate facial features generally look most balanced in the slightly smaller end of the ranges we've discussed today, while women with larger or more prominent facial features often carry slightly larger earring scales beautifully, sometimes even more so than smaller pieces, which can occasionally look slightly lost or insufficient by comparison. A simple way to test this for yourself: hold a few different earring options up to your ear in front of a mirror, from a normal conversational distance rather than up close, and notice which size genuinely feels proportionate and balanced against your specific features, rather than assuming any single size recommendation applies universally to every single face. Bonus section 2. How metal tone interacts with hair color changes. One final consideration worth mentioning: as hair color naturally transitions with age, often toward silver, white, or gray tones, metal choice in earrings genuinely deserves fresh consideration too. Silver tone metals, white gold, platinum, or genuine silver, tend to harmonize beautifully with gray or silver hair, creating a cohesive, intentional color story from hair to jewelry. Gold tone metals still absolutely work beautifully too, particularly warmer, richer gold tones rather than very pale, cool-toned gold, which can sometimes feel slightly at odds with cooler gray hair tones. If you've transitioned your hair color in recent years but haven't reconsidered your jewelry metal tone alongside that change, this is genuinely worth revisiting, since a metal tone that complemented your hair beautifully years ago might not create quite the same harmonious effect with your current hair color today. So there you have it, 5 specific earring styles worth reconsidering: the tiny plain stud, the extremely long thin dangle, the small plain hoop, the oversized densely embellished statement piece, and the heavy solid drop earring, along with genuinely practical alternatives for each one that solve both the visual and physical concerns we've discussed today. None of this requires an entirely new jewelry collection, simply a thoughtful look at what you already own, and perhaps a few small, intentional additions moving forward. If this video helped you look at your own jewelry box a little differently today, that's exactly why we make videos like this every single week. So here's what I'm asking. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, so you never miss a new video the moment it goes live. After that, give this video a thumbs up if you found even one earring style from this list sitting in your own jewelry box, and drop a comment telling me which one surprised you the most. Share this with a friend who could use this information too. She'll genuinely thank you for it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the very next video.